Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to be making some fun Halloween cards and a little more with the Crafted by Stamps and Dies. So let's get started. Okay, for our first card, we're going to be making a shaker card. So I've got one of our pre-scored, pre-cut A2 side folding card bases. They're made with 110-pound cardstock, so they're really nice and sturdy for any kind of card that you're going to create. And especially shaker cards, they have a little bit more weight than just adding paper to your card. I've got some of our Glistening Night confetti. It's a black, but some of them in there have a little holographic look to them. Some have a satin finish. So it's a really nice mixture of black confetti sequins. We've got this cute little witch image, and she's flying on her broom. And I've stamped the sentiment Halloween greetings, and I cut out a little flag end on it there. We've got some clouds from the stamp set and the cloud with the moon. I've cut a 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 strip from the Spooky Time paper pack, this diagonal stripe, and a piece of orange to go behind it. So the orange is 1 inch by 3 3/4. I have also cut from our oblong stitched oval dies out of gray, and then I embossed it with our Cloudy Day embossing folder. So we've got clouds textured there in the background. I love that. Embossing folders add just the right amount of texture to your cards, and they look great. For background, I've got this piece of lime cardstock that I have cut with our scalloped rectangle dies. It's one of my favorite die sets. You see me use it all the time. I just love that small little scallop that it gives around the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down to our card base. Get our card started. And then we're going to work on the shaker cover. So for the inside of the shaker cover, I've cut a piece from the Spooky Time paper pack. It's this cute little cauldrons and witch hats, and the little witch legs are sticking out of the cauldron. So cute. And I've cut this to the size that's on the packaging for the small A2 shaker covers. In essence, it's an eighth of an inch smaller than 3 3/4 by 5. But it'll give you those dimensions on the packaging so you know just what size to cut the inside for the shaker cover. So as I mentioned, I'm using the A2 small shaker cover, so it fits within the A2 card base with a little border around it. That's why we can use the scallop rectangle border and have that peeking around the edges of the shaker cover. I like to pre-fold my flaps and then flatten them back out. And we've got to take the protective film off our shaker cover. So I'm going to use our pick up and place tool. On one side is a pokey tool, and I just go in at one of the corners of the shaker cover, and I pick and poke at that protective film until it peels up and I can peel it away. And we don't need that. That's just on there to help protect the cover, keep it nice, pretty, and clean and shiny before you make your card. So I'm going to flip our cover over on the table, flip our panel that goes inside right on top of it, and center that panel. I'm going to hold it down to the table, and I'm going to peel one piece of release paper away from one of the flaps. And as I'm holding it flat to the table, I'm going to press it down onto the paper. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees, and I'm going to do it to the other side as well. Still holding it flat to the table to keep it nice and flat, and then pressing that flap onto the paper. We'll turn it one more time to do one of the shorter sides. But we're just going to do 3 sides to start with. We just want to do 3. And that creates our shaker pocket. See there? How fun. And super easy. This is so much easier than... I've done videos where I've done shaker cards where you build up with foam and you cut the acetate, you glue the acetate frame on, and you have to build it up with foam and make sure you cover all your corners so that nothing falls through. This is just so much more simple to make these shaker cards. And then you just fill the pocket as little or as much as you like with your sequins or your glitter or whatever you're putting into your shaker card. All right, how about that? I did that without making a mess. I still have plenty of confetti sequins in there to do another card, and I've got plenty in my card to shake around, as you can see there. So I'm going to flip it over, hold it flat to the table again, and then I'm going to close that 4th and final side. Just like so. Now we're ready to add our shaker pocket to our card. In order to adhere it to the card, you want to use a nice strong adhesive. You can use a liquid glue, but that takes a while to dry because of the non-porous surface of the shaker cover. So I like to use our Easy Tear tape. It's easy to tear by hand. It's a super strong adhesive. So it's going to hold this shaker cover down to our card really well. Get all my sides and corners covered, and then I'll put a strip in the middle just for extra hold. The other nice thing about our Easy Tear tape is how easy the release paper just peels right away. Now we can add this to the card. I'll make sure I've got my cauldrons facing the right direction. Don't want to put it upside down. We'll just center it on that little scalloped rectangle. And see, I just love the little peeking scallops around that. So fun. So now we have our fun, little bit sparkly shaker card. So let's decorate the outside. First I want to put down my stitched oblong oval with those clouds embossed on it. And if you use your liquid glue to adhere paper to the shaker cover front, just know it'll take a few extra seconds to set and hold because of that non-porous slick surface of the shaker cover. I'm going to glue our strips together here. And then before I glue that down, I'm just going to make sure I have the placement of everything just as I want. I'm going to glue the sentiment to my little strips of paper. Just like so. And we've got the moon and a couple of clouds. So let's glue the witch down. And I usually glue things directly down to my shaker covers instead of popping them up with foam, just because I feel like the shaker cover already adds so much dimension to the card. It doesn't need the extra foam behind anything. Go ahead and glue our strips down just below the witch, going across our oval. So far it's looking cute. And we just have to figure out the placement of our clouds. Okay. I decided I like that one down there. Kind of creates a little triangle. Your eye likes things in triangles. There we go. Super cute little shaker card. Shake those little sequins under there. Halloween greetings. Love that. So cute. For our next card, I thought I'd try a little fun fold card that I haven't done before. And I'm calling it a Matchbox fold card. Kind of opens at the bottom a little bit, but the top is bigger and opens up to the center like that. So you need a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of paper. So basically your 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, you cut it down the middle, long ways, 4 1/4 inches, and you can get 2 card bases that way. And then I scored it, so the card is going to end up 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I scored it here at 2 inches. So at 2 inches from the bottom I scored, and then 3 1/2 inches from the top I scored. So again, the top is scored at 3 1/2 inches, and this bottom is scored at 2 inches from the bottom. Since I used a purple cardstock for my card base, I want to be able to write a sentiment on the inside easily. So I'm going to adhere a piece of white cardstock on the inside that's cut 4 by 5 1/4. That leaves me a nice space to write a message or even decorate more if I wanted to. So I've got some layering pieces to decorate our card. I've cut a piece from our pink Halloween card panels with these little stars. And I cut a piece of plaid to go at the bottom from that same pink Halloween card panels. I think the stars and the plaid. And I just cut it a 1/4 inch smaller than the flap is, you could say. So this is 3.5 by 4 1/4. So I cut this down to 3 1/4 by 4. Down here at the bottom, we have 2 by 4 1/4. So I cut it 1 3/4 by 4. So we can go ahead and adhere these down. So here's our card so far. I love the stars and that plaid together. They really coordinate well, and I love those colors. All right, so next we're going to create a piece that's going to go over the opening so that when you open it, it's sticking over, and that's going to kind of be the closure, you know, down there to close the card. So I want a strip to go across that. And I've got a little stripe piece to go on top of my orange piece. Okay. And then I've got our little witch who's sitting at her potion table with her potion book, mixing something up. And I've got the sentiment is spooky hello, cut with a little flag end. I've got the little spider web with the spider from the stamp set, as well as the little black kitty cat. So let's put some of these pieces together. I'll go ahead and glue our 2 strips together. And then I'm going to glue the strip to the bottom of this pink piece of cardstock that I cut with our zigzag circle dies. So I'm just going to put a little glue down at the bottom, and then I'll flip it over and put it where I want it. Get it centered. So in the back it looks like this, and then on the front we've got a piece like this. So this is going to be a nice place for our little witch to sit at her table. I've got a little piece of foam tape, and I'm going to add it to our witch just to pop her up a little bit on the card front. Love that. Look how happy she is. Now I want her little cat to be sitting near the table with her. Maybe we'll put the cat down on the little strip down there. We've got a spooky hello to add, maybe up in the corner there. Let's add this to the card. So when adding this to the card, I kind of want that strip to go over the bottom flap so it holds it down. Otherwise, that's going to pop up on its own. So I want to kind of hold it down by having this piece hang over it a little bit. So we're going to add glue to just half of the orange strip at the bottom. We just want to add it to half. We don't want to glue down that bottom part because it's going to hang over, and we'll glue the entire zigzag circle piece. But just glue on half of that piece at the bottom. And I'm going to open it up just to make it easier to see where I glue it down. And then we can flip it over, and you can see that we've got that hanging over. So that will kind of be our card closure, you could say. So it hangs over like that. Okay? Super fun. I like that. I'll have to do this kind of card again. I do like it. Now we just have to decide. I know I want my little spider web up in the corner of the card. Just right up in the corner there like so. And then we still have our sentiment and our little kitty. I'm going to put the sentiment down in the bottom left corner. And then I'm going to tuck the little kitty right there next to the little witch, kind of sitting at her table. And here is our finished card. Little spooky hello. It's our witch making her brew, and then it opens up like that. How fun. Next up, I thought I'd make just a small little note card. I had these little 3x3" envelopes in my stash, and I thought, oh, I can make a 3x3 card out of our pattern paper. This is from the Spooky Time pattern paper, and I just cut it 3 inches by 6, scored it in the middle, and I've got a small little note card, perfect for giving little gifts, little treats, or sticking in lunch boxes. It's just a nice little note card. I've got 2 strips. The green one here is 3/4 inches wide by 3 inches long, and then the purple piece behind it is 1 inch by 3 inches. We layer those together, and then I'm going to add them to the little card. Just something simple and quick when you just need a little gift card. So I've got our little witch with the little kitty cat peeking over her hat. So cute. And the sentiment, I'm under your spell. So I think I'll put the witch right in the center and her sentiment right underneath her there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the sentiment down, and then I'm going to get some foam tape. I've got my giant foam tape roll, which I'm working through. Our foam tape has 108 feet on the roll, so lots of foam tape. It's a 1/16 of an inch thick, so it's not too thick that you can't mail something easily. You could always double it up if you wanted a little thicker. It's 3/8 of an inch wide, so it's not quite half an inch. So it fits on lots of sizes of things. And the release paper tears off nice and easy. So there we go. Just a cute and simple little note card that I've got my little 3x3 envelope that it goes in. I'm under your spell. Just something cute and simple to give to someone. And for our last project, it's not a card at all. We're going to make a little treat holder. It's a super simple, easy treat holder to make. We're going to make a little tag for it first. So I've got our fancy tag dies, which has this scallop tag with a stitch tag that fits on top of it. So we'll glue those together. And it also comes with this little scalloped topper for the tag, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I didn't put any holes in this tag. It does come with the hole dies as well. So it has a regular hole, and it also has a little heart that you could use for the hole of the tag if you were to put some twine or ribbon to tie the tag onto something. But I just did it without any hole on the tag because I found this cute little black and white polka dotted bow in my stash. I've been collecting ribbons and bows for a long time. I love adding them to my cards and projects. So I'm just going to simply glue down this little bow to the top. I'm going to grab some foam tape again to pop up our little witch. This time we're using the witch. She's sitting behind the cauldron. I'm also going to pop up our sentiment. I used the sentiment Best Witches. And I've got the tiny little frog from the stamp set, and I'm going to put a little foam on him as well. I've got to cut it just a little bit smaller. He needs a tiny little piece of foam. We can add our witch. I want to make sure I leave room at the bottom for the sentiment. Put her there. My bow is going to take a little time to dry. So let's add the sentiment. And then our little frog friend right next to the cauldron. So there is our cute little witch tag, Best Witches. So for our little treat container, all you need is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of paper. I'm using just pattern paper from our Spooky Time paper pack. So it'll be super simple and easy. You can also use different sizes of papers for this. So this is what I used to call it when I first made it. I think it used to be called like a sour cream container. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make like a tube with our paper. So I'm going to get my glue, and you can use liquid glue or you can use like a strong tape adhesive. And we're just going to roll it, and we're just going to make like a little tube with our paper. Now, using the liquid adhesive, I'm going to have to hold it here for a few seconds to let it really dry and stick together. So now we have our little paper tube. So now what we want to do on the inside of one side of the tube, we're going to add some adhesive. Again, you can use super strong tape adhesive or liquid adhesive, whichever you like. I'm just going to put a line of it. Just lining the very top of our tube. And then I'm just going to flatten the tube on that side. We're just going to flatten the tube. So once you have the one side of the tube closed, kind of looks like a bag of chips or something. It's closed at one side. So this is when you would add your treats inside. So you'd add your treats or your money or whatever you want to give as the gift. And then what you're going to do is you're going to close the other side of the little tube. Hold on. You're going to close the other side of the tube. So then it becomes like a triangle. So you know those little packets of sour cream you get? I think Wendy's has them when you get their baked potatoes. So the little sour cream container is like that. It's triangle, but they're closed opposite. So like this one's going up and down and the other side is going across. I'm not going to close mine completely because I still want to add my treats to it. But it makes like a really cute little treat container just out of your paper that you have in your stash. You want to make sure you use a really good adhesive. I'm just having to hold mine more because I use that liquid glue, so it takes a few minutes or so to really set and hold the paper closed. And then once you have your treats in there and you have it closed up, you can attach your little tag just like so. And then you've got a cute little treat container. I love that. It's a good time around the holidays, Halloween and Christmas, to give little treats in a little treat container that's simple to make. So here's our other card that we made, kind of our Matchbox opening card. Fun. And our shaker card. Can't forget that. As well as our little gift card. Just some super cute ideas for some cards as well as little treat giving. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the cards we created, as well as the little goodie packet with the crafted by stamps and dies and more. You can find these products at pinkandmain.com or ask your local retailer. And until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.